So that was the final network audition. Behind the camera were all the network executives, the president of the Fox network, all the Saban executives, and it was based on that audition that they made the final casting choice. I will point out that that was the original Trini. Her name was Audrey Dubois. She only lasted through the pilot, and then there was some contractual issues that caused us to part company, and that's where we got Twee Trang, the late Twee Trang, unfortunately. So after this, we really started kind of working on it and working the script, and the whole idea was to take all of the Japanese footage that didn't look Asian. Took anything that had kanji, any Asian faces, cars driving down the left side of the street, anything that could indicate that it was actually Tokyo, except we did use the Tokyo Tower. That we did allow to stay in. To take out and then build a story around it. Build an American story, something that would appeal to American kids. The problem is that the original show that we based this on, which was Zyuranger, was really about, there's a lot of ancestral history and spirits from the deep and a lot of Japanese mythology that doesn't exist and has no corollary here. So we decided to just kind of scrap the original story and make up our own, which is how we ended up with what we ended up with. Now it wasn't smooth sailing necessarily. I'm going to show you something here in a second. That there was a bit of an evolution, and I'm going to show you how that worked. Where to go? It's I usually do this with DVDs, but my DVD player broke. So, where's the evolution? It's going to be there? No. It's just a second. There we go. We actually did the pilot episode, and then we redid it twice and this is how it evolved. So I'm going to show you the originals here first, and then kind of show you just the opening scene of the film, of the pilot.
That man is here. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey, cutie. And then the sphere will have an angular decay of 3.1 to the minus 10 with a drag coefficient of 0.9875.
Oh, so in other words, if I spin the ball and aim for the pocket, I'm going to get a strike.
Affirmative.
Yo,
Hey, Zach.
what's
Hey,
up?
Zach.
Excuse me. Trying to pull a strike over here?
Say what? No, hey.
Oh, it's Brooklyn now.
Hey, man.
Oh!
Yo, Spazzo.
Come on, let's mess him up.
Hey, you're gonna pay for this. Big time.
Excuse me, may I interrupt?
Sit down, dork. Yeah, you can make it up to me tonight at the movies.
Sorry, but I don't date non-humans. Oh, my facial.
What are you looking at?
Back up. Hey, leave her alone. Cut it out.
What? Huh?
No, I got this.
You're gonna make me, little girl?
Uh-huh.
Take him out, Zach. Yeah, man, check this.
Yeah, do it, man. So now, is it answer? You're gonna fight, sissy. I'm gonna fight. My turn. Watch the ball. We interrupt this program with a special report.
Okay, we'll stop it right there really quick now. You know, first of all, quick little trivia. The picture on the back there was Samurai Pizza Cats. The network looked at this and went, this is great. It's way too violent. Okay, we don't want, so that's the only time you'll ever see Power Rangers hitting people. But we kind of thought it was cool, but then the thought about putting a show up for kids where these guys would just, you know, completely kick other people's asses. It just wasn't going to really work. I'll answer questions at the end. So we had to rewrite, and we had to kind of retool it. We actually shot that pilot. It was 16 minutes long. It was a mini pilot. We shot it in 3 days, 3 14-hour, very long 14-hour days. And in the middle of that bowling alley scene is when the network decided they were going to buy the show. We didn't actually have a title at that time. At that day, we also found out that we couldn't use the word Zoid because we were going to call them Dinozoids, because Lucasfilms owns the Zoid trademark. So we kind of came up with, well, what are we going to call it? What are we going to call it? What are we going to call it? Zords. So we just made up our own word. And we also, at the time, we'd already decided to call it Power Rangers, but during the meeting, in 10 minutes this came up. Chaim takes us all together. We're on the set of that bowling alley scene, and he goes, the network's buying it. We need a name. I said, well, we got Power Rangers. He says, no, but it needs to be something like Power Rangers. The Power Rangers. And I think it was Ellen Levy-Sarnoff said, well, how about the Mighty Power Rangers? And somebody else threw in Morphin. And they went, that's it, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That's it. 10 minutes we came up with that title. So we had to redo it. So we took the pilot episode, I rewrote it, because that pilot episode I wrote 9 times, what we shot. And then I had to rewrite it 5 more times. We do a lot of writing and stuff, to come up with the next version of the pilot, which should be coming up here any second. Come on, hello. This is now episode 1, the first version. Train.
And then the angular reflex will be equivalent to 3.2 to the 6th power.
I have no idea what you just said. He said a balance kick has more power.
Affirmative.
Never been there. Zach Manny's here. What's up?
Hi, Zach.
Yo, Billy, Kimberly, what's up? Hey, Zach. Hey. Trini, what's Jason up to?
Practicing balance.
Right. Yo, Jason! Yeah. Very funny.
Anybody want some Ernie's Veggie Chili?
I just made it fresh. It's on the house.
You don't put salt on ice cream.
Whoa, wait, you guys, wait. Wait, you're knocking me off. Wait, whoa!
Seriously. You know, we've got to play Skull.
Hey. You are gonna pay for this. Big time.
Yeah, big time.
I'm sorry, Bulk. It was an accident, okay?
Excuse me, may I interrupt?
Sit down, dork.
Great.
Leave Billy alone.
It's
Just
okay.
trying to help.
You can make it up to me later. At the movies.
You earned my facial.
What's the matter? Too good for me? Come on.
Bulk, leave her alone.
Ooh, who's gonna make us, little girl? Are you?
Hands off, Skull.
Keep her on ice. I've had it with these goody goods. Get him! Get him!
I got this.
That's
Check
when
it.
he had henchmen.
Speaking up, I'm here.
You are mine. I lost. Come on. What's going on?
So we looked at that and went, it's kind of clunky, there's shots missing, it just kind of didn't work, some of the things. And at first we thought they didn't want us to let the guys kick ass, but they didn't want to let the girls kick ass either. So we thought that was the kind of thing. We also had a new executive producer come in, Shuki Levy, who had helped originate the idea and then kind of semi-retired and then came back at this point. And so they refined it and we reshot it one more time and it came up with this.
It's a stupendous Saturday in Angel Grove. The big hello goes out to Ernie and the kids at the Angel Grove Youth Center Gym and Juice Bar. Keep those fruit shakes flowing, Ernie.
Nice recovery, Zach. Yeah, thanks for teaching me, Jason. No problem.
That was awesome, Kimberly. Thanks, Trini.
Hey, fellas.
Yo, Billy, what's up?
Well, I think I'm mentally and physically prepared for my first karate class.
Oh no, look who's here. Ball and Stomp.
Hi, girls. How about that double date we talked about?
Yeah. What about?
Sorry, guys.
What's the matter? We're not good enough for you?
Leave us alone, Hulk.
Oh, yeah? Make me.
Yeah. Make me. Him. Thank him. Hey, you heard what she said.
What do you know? The dancer wants to be a fighter.
It's okay, Zach. We can handle these two.
Oh, really? Let's show him some karate moves, Skull.
You guys should definitely join Jason's karate class.